Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. It is I, Tiki of the mighty Blarona tribe, here to welcome you to episode 4 of the Soul Imagineer Tribal Council podcast, season 2. Oh way yo 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 way yo. Trying to do the bouncy ball thing like Red wanted. Oh way yo way yo way yo. All right, so we are here to talk about Sorcerer's Apprentice, Soul Imagineer, season 2, episode 4, entitled "The Quest for the Lemons." And do you guys know why this episode is called "The Quest for the Lemons"?
I found out 5 minutes before we started.
You did, but just for anyone
I know the reference, but I have no idea why.
Well, the reference is... All right, in case you didn't get it, in case Yao Man apparently found a lemon tree. I found a lemon tree!
The most obscure reference I've ever seen.
You know what? I love my obscure survival references.
I love them. It's fantastic. You should keep them up. I like the one last week. I actually watched that one. It was pretty funny. Literally carrying the team on his back.
Well, okay. Well, we'll get into that because that's kind of a good transition space. Because I honestly think a good subtitle for this episode would have been "Space, literally carrying the tribe on his back."
Plus Matt and Puff.
Oh, yeah. Well, Matt and Puff were kind of there helping me too, so it's like the same basic story. Oh dear. Okay, so we are here to talk about episode 4 of the Soul Imagineer, season 2, as we've been saying. So let's start with kind of an overview of what RMichael wanted us to do with this project after we got tribe swapped. So I guess I'm to bring up now. How were you guys affected by the tribe swap?
Well, I like my new tribe, personally. I really do. We have a lot of strong people on it, including you, Tiki, and Red, and T-Cool, and Sam. The only problem, like, when I first got the tribe, I was worried that, like, you and me would be in trouble, like, if we were gonna be in the bottom of the, like, an alliance, but that's, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, IDI, especially like with you and me. We have a history together, of course. By the way, IDI, first time on the podcast this season. Welcome. I forgot to give you a good intro.
Hello.
But, you know, yeah, obviously you and I look at the game way differently than most people do, where it's like as soon as we're put into a numerical situation like that, we're like, okay, let's run the fucking math. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think we just kind of went with the flow, and I think we came out ahead. Wonderful working with Monorail Red this time around. I think Red was, like, obviously kind of like the, you know, just the power, the anchor, kind of like holding the whole team together. So I assume she was like that a lot of the time when she was on your tribe space.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so Space, if you have it pulled up, do you want to go over kind of the overview of what RMichael was wanting us to do?
Surely. Let me just get back up to it. My computer is lagging.
It happens when you're on Hangouts. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah. Well, because I was on the review part, and now I have to go back a page, and it's just...
right.
But basically, while it loads, I can say,
stuff there.
Yeah. Well, I can say that the tribe swap for me, it was like a mixed bag for me. One, I was really disappointed that a lot of Lasatoki left because we really had a good thing going.
You guys kicked some ass on Project 3, and that was the last project we covered, where essentially it was just me kind of like cowering for dear life while you guys came full force, everyone contributing to that project, knocking it out of the park.
And I think we were really building team chemistry, and we were really working well together. So to split it up, it was tough. I don't actually think we got off to a really good start in the beginning. After a while, it kind of teetered off, and it kind of ended up being basically what it was kind of for you last round, where
Oh yeah.
and you know what? It's not against. I don't hold any ill will against anyone because you know what? School and work, all those priorities should come before this.
And that's exactly what I said last episode as well.
Yeah.
I totally don't hold any ill will. I'm totally not like, hey, you should have fucking spent all night, like, up and, not getting sleep and not going to work. How dare you, sir? Shame. No, I wasn't like that at all.
Well, we can get into that. But
Well,
basically,
I might have said some things to other people outside of my team, but...
no, I was talking about myself because that's basically.
Oh, okay.
But no, they were very, very nice, and I think going forward we actually have a good chemistry. We got to know each other a little bit better, and we'll be better for it. So basically, this challenge was that. Never mind. That was the redemption duel. My bad. I was like, this doesn't seem like the actual challenge.
I'm keeping waiting. I'm keeping my my fingers crossed for a redemption duel that's actually going to be a duel. That'd be something, right?
That'd be good. All right, so for this challenge...
Sorry, RMichael. I really don't mean to jab you on that. That is absolutely not RMichael's fight in the slightest, but it is kind of funny.
So for this challenge, it was called the Fantastic Five, and the new tribes are going to design 5 new projects for 5 Disney.
Shit, IDI. You know what the best fucking title for this would have been, and I think I might go back and change it.
What?
Top 5, baby.
Again, I don't know what that means.
I'm sure that'll come up somewhere else along the line, though.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. It probably will. All right. I'm still very fond of the lemon tree. Let's hear it for Yao Man one more time. All right. That never gets old for me. Anyways.
Anyway.
I found the lemon tree.
Basically, the point of this project was that you're green-lighting, you're a board of directors of the Walt Disney Company, and you're green-lighting 5 different projects for each one for a different resort. So basically, you're going to have 5 projects for 5 resorts at the end of it. And The main part of this challenge was that as a board of directors, you want to green-light concepts that are realistic. So realism was a big part of this challenge, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
So that's basically it.
Okay. So I guess we'll get into kind of some of the brainstorming that went on during the team.
Sure. So I guess I can start with that. So
yeah, go ahead. Whatever.
We went in pretty quickly. We, bumped up the thread count or the page count, the PM till like 10 on the first day. It was pretty remarkable. We were just throwing ideas back and forth. Everyone at that point was like contributing very well, and then after that, I think this also had to do with like a long challenge too. It just kind of stopped after a while, and we ended up,
If I were to name a sweet spot for like the absolute most number of days a project should go on, it should be like maybe 10.
I think that's actually what. Was this one 10? I don't even remember.
I thought it was a full 2 weeks.
You might be right on that.
Not quite. I think
it was Sunday till Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Okay.
So I guess it was kind of.
Well, then it is 10, but okay. But here's the thing: if it was 10 days to complete one major expansion, that'd be awesome. That'd give us plenty of ample time to do it. But I mean, 10 days is a lot of time. But having said that, when you're working in school and you're working on podcasts like I am, and it just, that 10 days, it'll like fucking evaporate before you even know it. You know what I mean?
I think a good way to put it is if there's 5 projects, it's a project every 2 days. And that's a lot to tackle.
Exactly.
Unless you're just going to do it all at the same time, which is kind of what happened.
And I knew for a fact that I basically couldn't touch anything other than California Adventure and Disneyland.
Right. And it also goes to, you might not know, how...
Because obviously Red and IDI and even T-Cool are all bouncing off ideas for Epcot, which is awesome. They all kicked ass, and I had absolutely nothing to do with the Epcot on our project.
Yeah.
Like I said, mine was more just all the California Adventure stuff that I can speak to. That was pretty much all me. The Great Movie Ride. Probably my personal pet project of this whole thing was definitely the Muppet Vision 8D, which I spent a lot of time on.
I love that ride.
Thank you. Thank you. I love
Really
all the
good
gags. I love
Yeah.
bringing back Uncle Deadly as like a main scene.
Is that the Pacific Rim 5D thing or something?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Moving seats, misters that barely work, and smell-o-vision that's non-existent. All right.
Yeah, that one was really good. I liked that.
I'll admit, I think my Great Movie Ride was really slapped together and rushed. Like, that was not my finest work. I thought it came out okay. I thought the selection of films I had was okay. It's just, when I was writing it up, it was like, okay, like, and then you transition from this area to this area. Then there's another transition and another transition. So it was basically a ride of nothing but transitions. I actually really enjoyed what we came up with for the High Sierras, though. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I didn't get to read too much of it just because I was trying to get it on the site, but I thought you were...
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Did I see you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
The connection was bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool idea you had.
I mean, I will give Red all the credit in the world for coming up with the suspended coaster concept. That was all her, and I saw, like, is that Arrow suspended? And she's like, yes, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to work with Arrow suspended. So that was awesome. Arrow suspended is actually probably one of my favorite types of coaster. Even though there's not many left in the world, they just offer such a unique ride experience. So
anything with Frontierland, Red's gonna nail.
Oh yeah, of course.
Frontierland-esque things.
And we definitely have plans for Frontierland in Disneyland, especially because when you factor off the point that Frontierland's going to be under tarps for the next 2 years, and they're redoing part of the Disneyland Railroad to match with Nature's Wonderland, I think once Star Wars Land opens, we are going to get a full-fledged new Frontierland out of the deal as well, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But, all right. IDI, can you kind of shine some light on what you were doing in this project?
Yeah, so my main work was on the Aulani section. Just, right, I was there last year during the Soul Imagineer, so, right, I had a fresh perspective on what would work there and what wouldn't. So I had fun working on that, and also did a little bit of stuff for Epcot.
Yeah, I wanted to work on the Aulani stuff, but A, I didn't have time, and B, IDI stuff was so good that I was like, okay, that's all we need. So, and then Red, what was Red doing?
She did stuff she did Star Wars Land in Paris, and then Hong Kong Disneyland.
Okay, so she cracked out kind of some of the more niche parts of our project that might have been harder to brainstorm for. Okay.
I have to admit, I liked what she did with the Star Wars, putting the Millennium Falcon ride as like the Hogwarts Express type thing. It's a really good way to get a park hopper out of that park, because if you're going to Disneyland Paris, there's not much to do in the studio.
No, there's not.
If you're going to Disneyland Paris, you're going to get the one-day pass for Disneyland Paris, not for the studios.
Exactly.
Do something like that is pretty cool.
Okay. So I guess Space, I'll jump to you then. Let's kind of talk about your somewhat frustrating experiences here.
Yeah, well, I think you can relate from last challenge, but it started out very well. We split up each of the 5 things. Everyone had a piece, and then as the week went on and stuff, everyone got a little bit more busy, and then by this week, it was Puff was great actually. Hufflepuff.
Puff is kind of becoming like a dark horse in this thing, I think.
He's always available in the PM, always willing to give feedback, which is great because feedback is something that you really need.
Yeah, I find that out a lot, where it's like I'll work on a big project and then it'll just be like no one will comment on it.
Yeah, and he always gave whether it was positive or negative feedback, he always told you. And
in some cases, I think negative feedback is, like, especially if you've been playing these types of games as long as I have and you kind of have a backbone about it, negative feedback is almost more valuable than positive feedback is.
yeah, like he had some good things about the site too. Like, hey, I think you should put this there, and I was like, that's not a bad idea. That's
Sure,
great.
totally.
So he was
I
great.
am very much looking forward to his road trip competition as well.
I am too. Matt was very helpful. He had a bunch of school, and it's totally understandable. But
Sure.
he was able to knock out Lilo and Stitch for Olani, which I thought was a very unique take on Olani because
I thought you guys had a kick-ass Alani.
I actually, that was the one I was most questioning when we talked about it. I was like, I don't know if Olani is reasonable, but I don't want to do Shanghai again because we just did that last round, and then I don't want to do Tokyo because really that's like the Oriental Land Company, and if we're the board of directors, we wouldn't be making the decisions for that land.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense to me. So then it was Olani, and we made up like this huge backstory where other hotels are trying to copy off of Olani, so now Olani has to be more different. So the only way that it becomes more different is adding more Disney stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I really responded to that with you guys. It kind of reminds me of some stuff that my dear friend Monkey used to do in his projects, which was kind of create like a viral marketing style like storyline to attach to the attraction.
I love those in these competitions because it just brings a different, perspective to it.
Absolutely.
We included lava.
Come on, you know I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just bonus points on my
It
end.
was the I Lava You jewelry store. I was like, oh, we got to put that in somewhere.
Obviously.
But yeah, that was really great. And then most of the rest had to fall onto my shoulders. I'll admit that. But that was also self-imposed because I basically said, you know what, this stuff needs to get done. I'll just crack it out, and I did my best.
I think you and I kind of have a similar martyr vibe to this whole thing, where it's like, even if it completely goes against our better judgment and our personal lives, we have to get it done. It's like we just have this hero complex about ourselves.
And it's a positive and a negative because
It is.
you take a really big toll on your, just exhaustion in general.
Yeah, I mean, if we're working so hard on these projects, then we can't go out and find lemon trees like Yao Man. It'll be useless.
But you know what? That's what makes this forum great, I think, is people who are passionate about it. Because you know what? If we weren't passionate about it, we would have handed in some lackluster project with a bunch of random things in it, and it wouldn't have even been close.
Sure.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I guess now we can kind of get into. I am very sorry, RMichael. Like, I want to make the point right now. None of us really. We're not against RMichael. You know what I mean? We think he's a great host. We think he's doing a really good job with this season. But there are a couple of criticisms that kind of keep coming up. So I really don't want to make this like, oh, let's all just crash on RMichael and say what a bad host he is. Because no, he's a great host.
He got voted best host last year, so
Exactly.
He has the skill. Yeah.
But having said that, I guess I'll start here, and then Space, by all means. I'm sure you have things to say about it.
Yes.
The one thing that I was really noticing reading through the comments that did not sit entirely right with me was RMichael kept kind of switching back and forth between the perspective of like, oh, well, you're on the board of directors, so this has to be realistic. But then, like, when you guys would do Marvel or Star Wars, he'd be like, this isn't original, do something more creative. And it's like, well, any board of directors on the fucking planet is going to greenlight a Star Wars land or a Marvel land before they greenlight any fucking thing else. I mean, it's logic. So, yeah. I don't know, that kind of bothered me a little bit. I'm like, pick one or the other, you know what I mean? Like, either have them go, like, completely realistic with it, or have them go, like, balls to the walls, do whatever you want. I think it was a mistake for RMichael to try and kind of get both of those things into the same project. It really kind of ended up with some mismatched criticisms on his end.
Do you have anything to add, IDI?
Not really. Yeah, I kind of noticed the same thing. But, I mean, yeah, I don't have much else to add. I mean, again, he's a great judge, but, oh, we won.
Yeah, we won. But having said that, I mean, when I looked at, and I remember you and I, you sent me a message like, "Oh God, I'm looking at their site and it looks really fucking good." And I must admit, I did pull up their site, and yeah, like if anything, I think you guys beat us hands down in terms of the presentation of the actual website. I think you guys had a much more engaging and visual stimulating website, and I should know that because I'm fucking taking digital media over this semester, so I know what the qualifications for good website design looks like. So, and of course, Space, I know your big issue is, and this is something that just was kind of a fluke on our end, that our Hong Kong stuff didn't get into the actual project, but Space, I know you had some issues with that.
Yeah, that was... Alright, I'll take this in chunks, because this is not a personal thing against RMichael. He's a... Like I just said, he won Best Host last year.
Consider it constructive criticism, I guess.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
But emphasis on constructive, you know what I mean?
Like, this is trying to help the competition going forward.
For sure.
I'm in agreement with you that his reviews contradict themselves. Realism and creativity are two completely different things. In some cases. Sometimes they're the same. But you can't critique having Star Wars or Marvel as IPs included into parks when your scenario is that you're a board of directors of green-lighting projects.
Marvel and Star Wars is like going to be the only thing going into Disney parks for like the next 10 years.
Pretty much. So if you make a challenge as we are the board of directors, you can't criticize our opinion, our inclusion of Star Wars or Marvel. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because they are literally the most lucrative franchises that Disney owns right now. They'd be stupid to not put them in the parks as much as they can.
My thing was, and I'm actually reading your review right now, for Epcot, he said, great choice for Epcot. However, is the People Mover really realistic? And then...
Watch Walt's original Epcot film where he lays out where the People Movers in Epcot would be entirely realistic.
Well, I mean, I'm going to get to the next paragraph where it says, Star Wars, really, could have been so much more creative. While it's a realistic move, that doesn't mean you can't be creative.
So there you go. I think right there, RMichael kind of wrote himself into a hole of, like, criticizing someone for not being creative and then turning around and criticizing someone for being unrealistic in the same kind of breath.
And that's kind of my point. And that's from
yeah.
I don't even want to get into my review because I'm going to get too annoyed. Because Marvel is like my favorite thing in the world. And to call my thing uninspired, that just got me mad.
Would you be mad at me if I just said the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole is uninspired right now?
No, I mean, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about, like, the characters in general.
Okay.
I don't...
Because, I mean, I love me some Deadpool. Like, Deadpool fucking rocked my socks off. But I'm not looking forward to Civil War, so let's just put it that way.
Criticisms of how they're becoming more of a formula is not really what I'm concerned about.
Well, if you're worried about superhero movies becoming formulaic, then watch Deadpool, because Deadpool just takes the formula of a superhero movie and then just does nasty, intimate things with it. I'll leave it at that.
I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, and right, this is nothing personal. This is just, I'm confused as a contestant as to what he's looking for. And I think both of us can kind of feel the same way.
I think both of us have definitely felt the same way at different points during this competition, which is really the only reason why we choose to bring it up. And it's not really necessarily a flaw in RMichael's judging style. It's more just kind of like, we'd like to know a little bit more about where he's coming from making these decisions.
Right, and I think actually what would help, this is just a suggestion, is you don't have to rush to get the review out. And I think it'd be better suited if you took a day to read them.
Sure, totally.
Because I cannot read. There's no way I can read every single little detail of the project in an hour. Both of these projects, they were huge. You're gonna miss stuff, and I would rather have an extra day where, even if everything is critical about the project, at least I know that you saw it and you commented on it, and it makes sense.
Right, right.
So that's really my thing. And then whether or not I think it's fair that you guys had 4 concepts and the rules technically said you had to have 5 and you still won, it's part of the game.
I mean, I think that's more of kind of like a subjective technicality where it's like we most certainly did have Hong Kong. For some reason, it just did not get onto the website.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of...
Because I remember Red was definitely working feverishly to get that Hong Kong stuff done, so...
Yeah, so that's really my main thing about it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to moving on from this challenge, but I just hope that, going forward, I just hope that it's a little bit more clear as to what you're asking from the project.
Yeah, and like we all said, I think the time has come to kind of do something that's a little more small scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need a break.
Let's design a flat ride or something. Let's design a dining experience, something like that. Something nice and breezy.
Yeah, the ice cream parlor from last year, that was cool.
Right, right.
Bob the Bostonian.
Oh God, Crack Jacks! Go get your Crack Jacks! Yeah, I'm Bob the Bostonian.
Isn't that fun though? You guys, that's
oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I kind of want to do that.
All right. I was going to do Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 screenshots for the High Sierras roller coaster, but I just did not have time, unfortunately.
Ah.
And that last day, I was kind of working under a migraine, too, which made everything like 5 times worse. Okay. So I guess now that we've kind of gone over the reviews and whatnot, we only have some speculation with Jokers and D-Square to go. So first off, before we get to that, just you guys want to say your last piece about Jokers as a player this season?
I kind of just like him showing up to every comp, just kind of as a running joke now that he just gets busy with his school and has to drop out or just disappear.
I mean, I will say that while I think he gets overwhelmed with schoolwork and stuff, and it gets difficult to submit stuff, he will contribute to the brainstorming. So I think in terms of that, he's a vital asset in any competition because while he might not end up submitting anything, at least he gave someone else the idea where they can run with it. Yeah. I mean, I only work...
He's a much better idea guy than he is kind of like reliable at bringing full-term concepts to reality.
Yeah, I mean, we were great in season 3 of Sorcerer's Apprentice. I think you even remember that one where we created that Animal Kingdom ride in the Tree of Life. That was awesome.
I do remember that, yeah.
And that was mostly he, I, and Sam. That was just it was a great team effort on that one.
For sure.
And he did the script for that, so he's really good with the script and stuff. I mean, he's a film major, so he's gonna be pretty good in that.
But yeah, it sadly has turned into a running joke, and every freaking competition he's in, I will point it out at the start of the competition in the cast assessment. But do you think that he's got any chance to beat D-Squared here? Because at this point, I think D-Squared's going to be unstoppable.
I don't think Joker's going to win. I mean, if he really put in the effort, I think he could beat D-Squared, but with the 24-hour challenge especially, I just don't think it's going to happen.
And I think the problem with Jokers especially is that he's just not necessarily going to put in the effort.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the only way that Jokers would win is if the challenge is Jules Verne, Hollywood, or Epcot. Other than that, I don't see him submitting something.
But even then, I think he'd probably like get all these ideas in his head and then like realize that he doesn't have enough time to actually write them all down.
Yeah, true too.
So, it's interesting. It's interesting. How many people are left in the cast overall, excluding the 2 people on Redemption Island? I believe we have 9, right?
I think we have 10.
10, because it's 5-on-5 right now. In terms
Yeah.
of
Sure.
yeah, because we had 6, you had 5 last.
Oh,
round.
you guys had 6. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Do you think we're getting to merge next round? Do you think we're gonna kind of hold off for a couple rounds? What's the dealio with
I mean,
that?
we're only finishing episode 4. So
That's true. That's true.
Was it last season that it was episode 5 after episode 5 was
I think
merged?
5 or 6.
I think last season it might have been 6. Oh, I'd have to go back and look.
It was
though.
right
There were
after.
also less people.
Yeah, so I think it was right after the 50th anniversary challenge.
Yeah. I just don't remember what episode that was.
I
Right.
could have sworn I remember it was 5, but it could be 6. I don't know.
I think the merge was 6 and that challenge was 5.
Yeah, so it was after that challenge. Yeah.
IDI, I guess now that I've got you on here, this is kind of backtracking a little bit, but I always ask if there's a new person coming on who's played the game. What the hell did you think of D-Squared in that first round?
Well, initially I was on, right, you've talked to Space and Red about this, I think. Initially I was on their tribe before that swap that happened before anything even happened. So we all got that same PM that he sent to our entire team. They're just saying, align with me. Why not?
And then a bunch of Gravity Falls memes or something. I don't know what it was.
And then he sent a second PM to just me, Space, and Red, kind of threatening us.
Oh god.
That was good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely had my fair share of fun in that as well. He contacted me, he was like, Tiki, we absolutely need to be in alliance. I'm like, okay. Alright, like,
Don't
let's
get me wrong,
take
though.
back.
Especially,
Let's take a check back. Let's take a chill pill. But then he's like, no, we have to get this person out. I'm already working with this person. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. You need to go now.
We haven't even started the first round.
Right. I'm like, yeah, you need to go because you're clearly putting your fingers in way too many people's hands. And, you're clearly trying to manipulate too many people at once, and it's very dangerous.
I loved watching it, though. Like, especially being on the other tribe.
I
That was
envied the hell out of RMichael because I bet RMichael was just fucking stoked and doing fist pumps in the air all night when that was going down.
I mean, it's like that was the best first episode you could have
Oh,
asked
it
for.
was, man. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to think of like a first episode of Real Survivor that is as intense as that.
The fact that we're still talking about episode 1 and episode 4 is a testament to how good it was.
I would wager to say that like episode 1 of this season is almost as good as, let's say, the Real Survivor Kagayan, where big poker player Garrett gets voted out like second. So, you know what I mean? It's like in that realm of like, okay, there is like all this shit going on like right at the top of the season. So,
the D Square, dude, that's become like iconic now.
it has. It really has. Yeah. And God knows what he's going to do when he gets back in the game, because I really do think he's pretty much unstoppable at this point, unless someone like me or Red ends up on Redemption Island somehow, then we can kick his ass. But other than that, it's like, it's like if Ranky gets voted out, he'll probably, D-Squared will probably beat him. Someone like Matt, D-Squared would probably beat. Like, there's not a lot of people in the cast that D-Squared doesn't have a huge chance of beating. So I think he's in it till the merge. I think he's definitely coming back.
And keep in mind, like, people getting voted out, they're gonna feel like kind of burnt out from working challenge after challenge. Like, he's getting like a week-long rest between these challenges.
Oh yeah, he's lucky. All he has to do is he's like fucking Aussie in South Pacific. He's just swimming around on the island, collecting coconuts, building his strength up.
And then watch, as soon as we get to the merge, he gets voted out again, and then goes retention.
We'll see.
That'd be wouldn't that be? Doesn't it happen again? Maybe I'm.
Yeah, and then someone
Redemption Island is going to reset itself at the merge, yeah.
So, but it's still on, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go to Redemption Island still? Okay.
Okay,
He's gonna
guys.
come
Well, I
back and
think.
win.
I'm sorry.
He's just gonna come back and win. I'm calling it now.
Oh no, he will. Yeah, he's gonna win this entire thing. Watch.
That would be crazy, but I kind of love it.
Putting my money on that.
Oh God. All right, guys. Well, I think I am going to head and kind of call this podcast to a close because I think we've ran the gambit, kind of got everything we need to get. So, anyone have any closing thoughts?
I slept last night. It was nice.
I'm just ready for the next challenge. That's it. Really.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next challenge too, and I want to just kind of emphasize, like, RMichael, it's like we're giving you these notes simply because it's like in a constructive criticism point of view. Like, we think this season has been awesome so far. We just want to see it be even more awesome. So
I want to see this be the next SA season 2.
sure.
And
Yeah.
that's really why I keep trying to do the best I can in these projects. See, I could easily have just mailed it in, but I don't because I want to give this competition what it deserves.
All right, and with that, gentlemen, I leave you with the iconic Survivor quote of the episode.
I found a lemon for you. 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 I found a lemon for you.
We've got banana trees over there. We've got pie over there.
We got papayas, we got bananas. I found a lemon tree. Have a good night, everybody. Oh, hey, yo, 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 hey, yeah, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yeah, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yeah, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yeah. All right. I found a lemon tree.